Okay, so this is take two of the live today. I was live a few minutes ago, but we lost video and picture. So just starting a new live. As I mentioned before, if you have topics of interest, spiritual development related topics, Reiki, intuitive energy healing, angels, connecting with guides, meditation, how psychics and mediums work, anything along those lines, please share, ask your questions. I'll be happy to help out and share with you what I can. I've included my website in the comments, so if you'd like to read up more about me personally and what my offerings are, I'm a practicing psychic medium. I also teach spiritual development classes and offer one-on-one mentoring as well. I'm also an intuitive Reiki energy healer. And I also do lives on Facebook on Thursdays, live psychic messages as channeled from your guides, angels, your higher self, sometimes even departed loved ones. So if that interests you, check that out on my Facebook page of the same name, Medium Blessings Andrew Spirit, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join us in the live. Feel free to ask your questions there. Sunday lives are generally between 4 and 7 p.m. So again, spiritual development related topics, free resources. If you're looking for some online spiritual groups to join, some like minds, I can certainly help you with that. But I typically just jump online when I can. If we have questions, I'll stay online for as long as the questions are going. Sometimes we run for 45 minutes or more. Sometimes it's 10, 20 minutes. All depends on who's joining us in the live and what kind of questions we get. So please invite and share with anybody else who you may feel is looking for some like-minded spiritual development community groups. If they have questions about angels, spirit, guides, energy in general, working with psychics, mediums, I can help you with that. So I'll just stand for another minute or two to see who's going to join us. We don't always get questions, but like I said, this is a good opportunity for some free resources. If I can't answer you right away, I can get the information for you. I have a lot of other healers, medium friends, connections that can help with that. So feel free to ask questions, and I will be happy to share with you what I can. My website is in the comments if you'd like to read up more about me and what I do, what I offer. So subscribe to either my YouTube and or Facebook pages so that you can join in the lives. Facebook on Thursdays. YouTube is generally on most Sundays. So just give it another minute or two. Okay. Hi, TH. Welcome. Occasionally I do, yes. It doesn't happen often, but I have definitely connected with both deceased pets and also spirit animal totems. So spirit animal totems are similar to guides. They have their own unique energy and information to share. But yes, I have connected with pets on occasion. Not as often as people, but yes, I have done that. So thanks for the question. And if you know of anybody else who is looking for a chance to ask similar questions, anything about spirit, guides, energy, just invite them to join in, subscribe to the page, and they can ask whatever questions they can. I'll be happy to share with you as much info as I can. And if I can't answer something right away, I will find out for you or get in touch with someone who knows. My website's in the comments, so you're welcome to read up more about me there, what I offer and what I do. I also teach spiritual development. I do energy healings. I do private readings for people. There's more about that on my website. If you'd like to watch me do it online, I do it live every Thursday, 7 p.m. on Facebook. So check out my Facebook page of the same name, Medium Blessings Andrew Spirit, and just subscribe so you get notified when the live begins, especially on Sundays, because it's not always the same time. Anything else, if you have specific topics of interest, I'd be happy to cover them. So you're welcome to recommend spiritually related topics to me, and if I can share info about that, I'd be happy to. And yeah, maybe just let me know where you're tuning in from. I like connecting with people from all over the world, so we get people from everywhere. So I'm just curious as to what country you're joining us from. Mostly it seems to be US, Canada. I do get the odd one from Europe, but I love connecting with all sorts of people and energy. So you're welcome. And anybody else you might know, have them join in. And if you have more questions, please post them right away. Usually stay on for a few minutes until there's no more questions or no one else is joining in. So I will, let's see. Okay. Yes, they do. Depending on who or what I'm connecting with, spirits absolutely do have a sense of humor. Some can be very serious. Some can be very, very funny and humorous. They're all different and unique. So they basically almost have a kind of like a personality of their own, just like we do, humans do. So yes, they do use humor, among other things, to better connect with us, to relate to us. So yeah, they can be very humorous. Okay. One of the reasons they can use sense of humor is to, depending who I'm reading for, who the message is for, sometimes it helps the person recognize, acknowledge, and be more receptive to that spirit or guide. If they resonate more with humor, the guides and spirits try to use a way of communication that will be most receptive to the person they're trying to give messages to. So great questions. Okay, I'll give it another minute or so before I end the live. We don't seem to be having many others joining us tonight. So it varies. Sometimes it's slow and quiet. Sometimes it's a bit busy. So I'll give it another minute before I close down. So last call. If there are any messages from anybody, post them now. I'll be on for another minute or so, and then I'm going to close down. Okay, final call. If there's anybody else who has any questions, last chance. Thanks, TH. Have a good night. Thanks for joining in. Feel free to join me next Sunday or on Facebook on Thursdays. Thanks for the questions. Okay. Anybody else? Last call. If there are no more questions, I'm going to close the live down. You're welcome to join next Sunday. It's best to subscribe so you get notified when the live begins. It's not always at the same time. I try to do it roughly between 4 and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or if you want something more sort of specific, Thursdays, 7 p.m. on Facebook. I do live psychic messages. Janine, what is your question? Feel free to ask a question. If you have a spiritual development related topic, feel free to ask. You're welcome to join my Facebook page as well. I do lives on Thursdays, always at 7 p.m. on the Thursday. My Facebook page is also called Mediumblessings - Andrew Spirit. Okay, why is following intuition so difficult? So biggest reason for me is you've got your higher self or your intuition and your ego competing for your attention at the same time. So typically, your intuition gives you a very subtle, gentle guidance, direction, some advice, and immediately your ego jumps in and wants to analyze it and decide whether it's comfortable or safe or what's in it for me first. So sometimes it's difficult deciphering whether something is coming from your ego or your intuition. Ego is always wanting it convenient, safe. It wants to know what the outcome is. If it's uncomfortable, ego will try and shut the idea down and just kill it. Your intuition will always come. Generally, it's usually the first thought, especially if it usually comes very subtly, very quietly, and it usually catches you unaware, but you literally have about maybe 1 second to respond and act on it before ego steps in and starts to analyze and tamper with it and decide whether it likes the idea or the advice or not. So that is the biggest challenge, deciphering whether it's ego or intuition, because they're both competing for control there. If you get a negative vibe, should you trust? For me, I say generally yes, especially if you're feeling it in the gut or the heart center. I like to advise people, if you're getting a vibe or a feeling, try and listen from below the neck. So if it's coming from your heart center or your gut or your bodily felt sense just feels a bit off, trust it. If your mind starts getting involved, especially the left brain, it starts to analyze and try to rationalize, then be skeptical. So if it's more of a gut feel, I say generally it's best to trust it. Okay. If you have any other questions, feel free. I'll stay on for a few minutes longer if you need to, if there are any other questions. If you think of anybody else who might benefit from this or be interested, invite them to join the page, subscribe to either the YouTube channel or the Facebook page, depending on what they're looking for, or both, so they can get notified. I've also got my website at the top of the comments. That's got more information about me personally and what I do, what my offerings are, if people want to know more about me. I'm a spiritual development teacher. I'm an energy healer and a practicing medium. So, okay, someone laughed at your discomfort. So, yeah, if you're feeling uncomfortable, it sounds about something, whether someone else finds it funny or not, it's irrelevant. That's just their opinion. If you're feeling discomfort, and you feel off, or you feel the energy or the person maybe is humiliating, trust what your feelings are. The feeling center is a very good gauge or mark, because feelings cannot be wrong or right. They just are what they are. So either focus on how the person or the energy or the vibe is interacting with you or treating you. If something is coming from your higher self or spirit or the angels, even if it's a warning or something a bit unpleasant or challenging or negative, they're still going to give it to you in a kinder, more loving way. But if someone is doing it in a ridiculing way or judgmental way, and your body just feels off with them, then trust that. All messages, whether they're positive or negative, should be given in a respectful manner, in as loving way as possible. So go by the person or the vibe. Ask your body. If you're not sure, ask your gut, or put your hand on your heart center and say, does this feel good for me or not? And then trust that. Takes a bit of practice, because like I said, your ego is always going to try and mess with you. Excuse me. So, sometimes we get it wrong, but the more you practice at it, the better you get. So, like I said, it's try to trust your intuition, your gut feel. Practice makes perfect. Yeah. So if you're feeling discomfort, especially if it's from below the neck, if it's in your gut or your heart, if your body's tense, then pay attention to what thoughts are going on in your head. Sometimes your body will tighten up just to remind you and say, what are you thinking? What thoughts are going on in your mind? Yeah, it's challenging. It takes practice. A lot of people are not used to practicing that. But it's like anything, whether it's you're working a physical muscle or a psychic muscle, practice makes you better. Okay. Any other questions? If there's anything else, feel free. If you need me to stay on another minute or two, I can do that. Otherwise, I'll just close down. So I just want to make sure you've had a chance to ask your questions. Okay, so last call. If there's no more questions, then I'll call it a night. Just want to make sure. I don't know what the delay is between my talking and the questions appearing on the message feed, but we'll say another 30, 40 seconds. If nothing else comes up, I'll just call it a night. So, but you're welcome to join in any other time, any other Sunday that I do go live. If it's YouTube for Sundays, make sure you subscribe because the live's not always at the same time. Facebook, not as important to subscribe because the lives are always at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. So that's standard. Sundays are more inconsistent. Okay, so looks like we don't have anything else. So I'll just call it a day and close the live down. So Janine and TH, thank you for your questions tonight. Hope you join us again whenever you have the chance to. So until next time, have a good evening or morning, depending where you're tuning in from. I'm going to close the live now. So have a good night and take care until next time.